Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we finna do another little recipe here. Now yesterday I made a little something by Airsoft Fatty called tumor soup. And it's pretty good. I liked it. Done a pretty good little recipe. But it was a little lacking, I thought. So I'm finna make this little video in response to my original video, in response to Airsoft Fatty's video, how to make tumor soup with a cancerous amount of cheese, mind you. So at this point, I think it needs a little more flavor. So I'm gonna make the redneck version of Airsoft Fatty's tumor soup. First thing I'm gonna do, I got my another 2 packages of macaroni and cheese. Regular old Kraft macaroni and cheese. Got 2 packs of that heating up back here. That's the first thing. Now I'm gonna use what I had left yesterday of the macaroni and cheese that I made, the Airsoft Fatty recipe. First thing I'm gonna do different is he put summer sausage in there and that was pretty good, but I felt like maybe a little bacon, maybe a little ground beef would be a little more to my tasting. So we're gonna go with a little bacon first thing, throw a little of that in there and fry the crap out of it. So we're gonna come over here. I'm gonna cut this bacon up. I got a big package of bacon. Nothing fancy, just old regular cheapo version, I'm sure. So everything I get usually is. So you can do this recipe on a budget. Let me get a plate. We'll cut this stuff up. This knife's fairly sharp. It ain't real sharp. Maybe it'll get by. I don't know. I'm gonna take about this much bacon. This is a big jumbo pack, so I'm getting about what a normal little pack would be out of here. And I'm just gonna fry the crap out of it. I'm gonna throw a little ground beef in there. I want it to be meaty. Another little thing I got to add to the recipe, wasn't on Fatty's original recipe, was some mushrooms. I think that'll add a nice little flavor. I usually like that in my, any kind of pasta. So Nikki gave me the idea. That's my girlfriend. She gave me the idea to chop this bacon up first instead of trying to do it in the skillet and break it and let it get crispy and break. So I'm gonna try to kind of chop it up a little bit. Man, most everybody likes bacon. Well, as Fatty said, he calls this tumor soup because it's got a cancerous amount of cheese. So, I'm sure it's not the healthiest option out there, and he's not known for cooking the healthiest food, that's for certain. So, we might as well step it up a notch. If we're gonna make it cancerous, we might as well give a little heart disease while we at it. So, we're gonna throw this bacon in there. See if we can stop up a few arteries. If you're gonna die, you might as well enjoy yourself while you're doing it. Tell God I'll see him later. We're gonna try to get this stuff in there. I'm trying to chop it up. This knife ain't so super duper sharp. I'm gonna have to get the old knife sharpener out and fix some of these old crappy knives here. Alright. That's pretty good. Bring y'all back over here where we got everything going and the action zone. Let me throw this bacon in there. See what we got going. I got it on medium high. These noodles is what you have to watch. I'm gonna cut them down a little more. I got these from yesterday. Added a little milk to them because it kind of, got real thick and all that stuff. This was the original Airsoft Fatty recipe. You can look back at my other video to see how that's made. It's basically just macaroni and cheese with a whole bunch of cheese and some summer sausage cut up in it. And it's pretty good now. I ain't knocking it. But I think there's a little room for improvement. You know, we're gonna do it redneck style over here. Fatty, he's from up north, see. They make some pretty good recipes, but I think down south we can do it a little bit better. I'm gonna send him a little challenge on this video. Just keep stirring these noodles, because they will stick. Just regular old macaroni and cheese. Nothing special. But I gotta fry the crap out of this bacon. We might not need very much. I was planning on putting some hamburger meat in there, but with this bacon, we ain't gonna need a whole lot of hamburger meat. But we bring it up pretty large. This is gonna be a pretty big pot of this. It'll be enough to feed everybody. I like making big amounts of food because I like eating a lot. So I'm gonna let that cook a little bit. I might have to cut that bacon up a little bit. Put my lid on there so it don't splatter all over the place. Alright, I'm gonna come back over here while that's heating up. This stuff's froze, so see how hard it is to cut it open. This dull knife. I think I'll just try to take about half of this stuff. It's ground beef. I might have to get a different knife. It's easier to cut yourself with a dull knife than it is a sharp knife, believe it or not. That's a fact. I guess because you're trying so much harder. You about need a saw to cut through this froze stuff. I might get something with a serrated edge on it over here. Let me see what I got. Maybe some kind of steak knife or something. I might can saw through this stuff. Hope y'all can see that. I don't know how that camera's tilted. I was fishing the other day. Went over there with old Justin over old Spirit of the Outdoors over there. He took us on a little grinnell fishing trip. And I had my camera on. And I caught a big old grinnell. I thought I had my camera on. And I had it up close too, where you could see it real good. Well, when I looked back at my camera, it wasn't recording. So I'm having to learn my lesson about making sure this camera's working, because that made me mad. But he's got it on film, but it won't be as close as my camera was. His camera was further away. So anyhow, you'll be able to see it over on his channel. I might be able to share it some way over here. We'll figure that out at some point. Either way, it'll be online at some point in the near future. You can see me reeling in that big grinnell. And they are good eating, as long as you know how to cook them. And he explains all that over on his channel. I might make a video about it sometime in the future. But in the meantime, you can go over there. He'll tell you all about it. Man, I'll tell you what, it's hard to cut that stuff. I about need electric fillet knife to even cut through it. I might get something I can jab down in there. This has got a little more serrated edge. Maybe it'll saw a little better. It's bad enough. I really want to put some of this ground beef in it, but I don't want to cut myself trying to. We're doing this in real time today, folks. So, alright, I got it cut. Set that over there with that egg. Didn't have to check my bacon anyhow. If it gets too hot, there ain't no problem. This will cool it down. This will take a little longer than Fatty's recipe, because got this froze ground beef and all that. Bring y'all back over here where you can see what I'm doing. Them noodles won't be long and they'll be pretty much done. I'm just going to keep them down on low and keep stirring them. Don't take very long to cook the old macaroni and cheese. This bacon's coming along nicely. I'm gonna set that old ground beef up here by it. Let the heat of the stove kind of be warming it up. I ain't gonna throw it in there with the bacon, I don't think. That way it'll cook a little faster. Get my bacon. I want my bacon real crispy for this recipe. Cook all that water and stuff out of it. Alright folks, we're getting this bacon sizzling now. My water's about cooked out of my noodles, so now I'm going to top it off with a little milk. A little secret ingredient brought to us by Airsoft Fatty. Folks, if y'all don't know who Airsoft Fatty is, where you been hiding, man. He's one of the biggest YouTube sensations they are. Go over there and check out his stuff. He shows you how to cook all kinds of stuff. His specialty being meat salad. He's the expert. We're giving him a little challenge this time. I don't know if I can do it bigger than Fatty, but we're doing it southern style, redneck style. And you know down here in the south, we always give it a little bit of extra flavor in there. So I'm throwing this out as a challenge for old Airsoft Fatty up there. If you like your recipe, give mine a try. Got to make sure this thing's working. I ain't gonna do like I did on that griddle video. Alright folks, one thing you gotta have down here, you gotta make sure your food is seasoned. Ain't nothing worse than bland food. I hate it. So I'm gonna start right away putting a little season over this macaroni. Put a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Now I'm running low on one of my main ingredients that I always put in just about everything, and that's Tony Sashers. There might be a little tiny sprinkle in there. It ain't gonna hurt nothing, even with this pasta. Put it in everything. Give it a little bit of extra flavor in there. We down here in Mississippi. That's pretty close to Cajun country down there. I guarantee. Do it like old Justin Wilson. Alright folks, another secret southern ingredient you can't never go wrong with in any recipe. A little butter. Throw a little bit of that over here in this macaroni. I don't know how much this is. I need a knife, though. It ain't too easy to break with your hand. I thought I was going to be smart there. Use this knife. Well, what the heck, man. We put the whole thing in there because we still got that from yesterday. That's a pretty good sized pot. This is going to be enough for eat all day and tomorrow too. This bacon's getting on down there now. Like I said, I want to get it crispy, kind of like bacon bits. I don't want it to be all floppy, all that mess. Main thing with all this tight cooking, folks, is you got to keep stirring everything. Everything will get burned if you don't. It'll taste like crap. That's the hardest thing when you get all this different stuff going at one time. Now I done got this heated up back here, so I'm just gonna cut it off. Stirring in that butter on this. Give it a good flavor. We're fitting to start combining stuff. I think we had a good point to maybe add. Tell you what, we can go ahead and start adding some of these mushrooms. Start getting some of that flavor in there. This bacon's getting right up there now. I have to cut it down a little bit. Tell you what, that skillet's getting hot. I'm gonna drain this extra liquid off of these mushrooms, folks. I got these up at Dollar General. Sliced mushrooms in a can. Alright, folks, I'm putting 2 cans of these sliced mushrooms in here because I like mushrooms. Put them the way you want it. Ever how many you like. See it. I've already got about half of this pressure cooker. A Fatty's recipe in there. So we starting out with that. But folks, you can just make regular macaroni and cheese. Start out with that if you want to. This is an adaptable recipe. Change it around the way you want it. Alright, I'm thinking that's looking about right. Start putting some of this stuff together. I'm gonna move this baby over here. I'm gonna dump these over in that. We'll consolidate this stuff. Yeah, it didn't none of it stick. We did good. Got to keep an eye on it. Say our bacon's getting about right. Start putting that in there. I ain't gonna put that, just all that old grease in there. It's gonna be cancerous, but I'm gonna try not to make it too deadly. You don't want to die on your first bowl anyway. We are gonna stick to the cancerous amount of cheese recipe. That was one of the things that Fatty emphasized about his recipe, is you gotta have a cancerous amount of cheese. That's why he calls it tumor soup, folks. Alright, I'm gonna get this bacon in there. Alright, folks, I got my bacon stirred in. Now for the dangerous part. I'm gonna put this hamburger meat in that skillet. Try to start cooking that down. The reason I say it's dangerous because I got that bacon grease in there still. I left that in there. We're gonna cook half of that tube of ground beef. Keep stirring this. Now let's see. At this point, we can probably go ahead and add. We got Alfredo sauce that's got to go in here. Let me get that out. Picked up a can yesterday. We got a macaroni and cheese mix, cheese or whatever it is. Put this Alfredo sauce in there, folks. According to Fatty, it's got to be a cancerous amount of cheese. That's the main thing. Where it gets the name tumor soup. I'll throw in a little Kraft cheese so I can get it open good enough. 2 boxes, so 2 packets. I'm gonna just cut it up the easy way. It's the way I like doing stuff. Right into the skillet. I ain't gonna get out no plate, nothing fancy. Folks, you can't hardly go wrong with a little onion. That's another one of the things I like in just about everything. Onions and garlic. I'm out of garlic right now, so you know what? I may have some garlic powder. If I can find some up there, I'll throw that in there too. I'm about to get this pot full. I'm going to get out a bigger pot like I did with that mama's chicken stew. So big it'll break your stove. Or good. Y'all have to watch that video to see how that turned out. I about near tore up this stove cooking that stuff. But it was so good, I ate so much of it, I couldn't even sleep. Alright folks, looky here. I found a little garlic over there. So now we really fitting to step it up a notch. Throw a little bit of that in here. Gonna slice it up in there. Like I say, I ain't gonna get it out and chop, but it would have probably been easier, honestly. This will work. I can handle it. Saute it in here with this ground beef and onions. And you know that'll get some flavor going. Take notes, Airsoft Fatty. You'll learn a couple things watching Southern style. Now, I know you're a good cook and all. I've been watching your cooking shows for a long time. Learned a couple of tricks, especially when it comes to meat salad. I ain't never made that before till I seen your show. Down south, we put onions, garlic, celery, just about everything. A lot of pepper, a lot of salt, butter, bacon anytime you can. We like everything well seasoned down here. Next time you're down this way, you're gonna have to stop by. We'll eat a meal together. Everybody's always talking about my old lady cooking. She's a good cook. I'm glad, because I got tired of my own cooking. But I'll tell you what now, I had to learn how to cook. Whenever I moved off from down here, Mom wasn't around to do no cooking. I didn't have no old lady. I had to learn how to cook. I got tired of eating that junk food. I figured out how to get some flavor in everything. I guarantee. All right, now we're getting it in there. Oh yeah, that's gonna have some flavor. Now, one thing you can't go wrong with this sauce. See, this ain't regular sausage; it's just hamburger meat. Well, one of the main ingredients is sage in sausage, so I'm gonna throw a little sage in there and give it a little bit of that sausage flavor. Man, yeah, if y'all could smell it, y'all be licking your lips over there. Getting it on down there now. This is what's gonna kick it up a notch, right here. And that bacon, shoot, man. If you don't like this, I can't help you. And I ain't even eat it yet. I already know it's gonna be good. Alright, let's put us about a teaspoon of salt in there. I don't use no measuring spoon. I do it like old Justin Wilson. Now that's a teaspoon right there, I guarantee. Here, let me show you. That's a big teaspoon. Pour it in there. That's a teaspoon right there, folks. Right on the money. You don't need no measuring sticks. Just keep tasting your food's the main thing. You'll know when you get it right. Letting that garlic cook down a little bit. That meat's pretty much done now. Let everything cook down real good right here. Want about medium. See if there's any other seasoning we need. Might not go wrong with a little crushed red pepper. Let's try a little of that. I'm gonna throw that on over on in the cancerous pasta over. We're gonna make some atomic brain cancer pasta. He was talking about tumor soup. Well, this right here is gonna be atomic brain tumor soup. Alright folks, I'm just gonna scoop this off. Instead of draining it out, I'm just gonna scoop this off of that extra grease in there. I've let my garlic cook down. Cut that off. We got a little uneven stove out here from where I almost tore it up the other day with that mama's redneck stew. So good it'll tear up your stove. I can use that to my advantage, kind of like a George Foreman grill. Let that grease run over that way. That way I ain't gotta pour it out over some straining device and all that stuff. We add a mixture of ground beef, sauteed onions and garlic, a little bit of sage seasoning in there, a little bit of salt. We're making it cancerous amount of cheese and a heart-stopping amount of cholesterol. But we don't want so much in there it's going to kill you on the first bowl, so we're going to strain that off. Set this to the side. Alright folks, we're getting down to the home stretch now. Stir this in. We're about ready to start adding that extra cheese. Man, yeah, fatty, that'll make your lips smack, won't it? Oh yeah. All right, buddy. Time to throw in that extra cheese. We finna lay it to it, buddy. I'm gonna give it a little bit of different flavors. We got some mozzarella, of course. That way it makes it like glue and get all over the place. We about to fill this boiler up, ain't we? I'm gonna throw a little Swiss in there to give it a little extra flavor. And get this thing open. How that goes. I'm planning on using it all, so I ain't gonna waste no time. Do it the old-fashioned way. I'm getting hungry, so I'm going to cut this stuff up. Tired of messing around with it. See, won't that get it done? And last but not least, I'm going to give a few slices of this old provolone over here. A truly cancerous amount of cheese. We'll save a couple slices to make a sandwich out of, if we decide to do so. Stir this stuff in there. It looks like it's almost trying to turn into slime. And we got a whole pot here, baby. You think you could handle that, Airsoft Fatty? I bet you smacking your lips up there. You have to run out and get the ingredients. You better see this video. I'm gonna tag your butt in it. I ain't got no big time YouTube channel like you do, but maybe you'll see it. Look at that. That's gonna be some good stuff right there, buddy. Now, I always say you gotta taste your food. You can't just sit there and cook it and guess. You gotta see what kind of flavor it's got. If it needs some seasoning, what it needs. Ain't no way to tell if you ain't tasting it. You don't want to burn your mouth either. Oh man. Now you notice I didn't have that reaction yesterday when I ate that tumor soup. But by God, this has got some flavor in it. I don't think it needs nothing. Maybe a little bit of black pepper. Oh yeah, that's coming through. Maybe a little touch of cayenne, just a little sprinkle though. I don't want to get carried away. I mean, just a smidge, because this stuff's stout. We're going to do an actual pinch this time, not even a whole pinch. I want a little kick to it. I ain't going to wipe my nose with this hand, though. Now, Fatty, if you can't handle that, I can't help you. I'm going to add a little bit more milk just to get that pepper saturated down in everything real good, because it's creamy, man. It's cheesy. It's a brain tumor size. Oh yeah, baby. Now that is atomic brain tumor soup. I guarantee you that's good. Look at that. Crank this thing up a little bit and get a little bubbling going on. Alright folks, I'm letting that warm up a little bit more. Give it another little taste. Boy, that's some cheesy stuff. Man, now that's the way you want it. I'll tell you what, Airsoft Fatty, this is how you make your soup. You want your tumor soup? This is atomic brain tumor soup, baby. You want to taste some flavor? Make you a bowl of this stuff. You'll see what I'm talking about. Take it from the redneck. This is JR's redneck recipes. This stuff's right on the money, man. I guarantee everybody around here is gonna gobble this down. I might eat so much I might not even be able to sleep again tonight. So it's Halloween time coming up. So we got some Return of the Living Dead crap here, baby. Make you up some, Fatty. We'll see y'all next time. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll make up some more recipes. I can probably take just about any recipe y'all got and make it a little bit better. See y'all next time. Alright now, Mom, we're gonna see what your reaction, see how you like it. This is known as atomic brain tumor soup.
Oh God, it made me have brain tumor.
Well, it's got a cancerous amount of cheese.
How good I am.
What do you think?
It's wonderful.
Do you like that as good
I
as?
could eat this whole bowl.
Do you like that as good as that I made yesterday?
This is the best.
Well, there you go.
It has more rich stuff to it.
There you go, Fatty. Take it from the pro. She's been eating 81 years now, so she's got a few years up on us. You got to try my recipe,
Great.
buddy. Take it from the pro over here.
That is great.
And she used to work at the school in the cafeteria, so she knows. See y'all next time. Make some atomic brain tumor soup for Halloween coming up. Everybody will love it. I guarantee. Do you like it?
Like Fatty says.